Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. I'm the book geek, also known as Kiava, and oh my god, I have not done any book content in quite a while, but today I'm going to do a book haul. Now the plan at the beginning of this year was to challenge myself. I need to read at least 25 books that I already own before I go out and buy more. I failed. I failed miserably. I failed terribly. Okay, I'm still gonna try and hold to that going forward. But yeah, I failed because I work at a school for one thing, and twice a year they have a scholastic book fair. So they had the book fair, and I bought books at the book fair. And then across the street from my job is the Historical Society, and they had a book fair. They had books for like $1, $2, $3, and I just couldn't resist. So, and then I ended up doing a huge Amazon order. I don't know what compelled me to do that, but I went through my Amazon and I ended up ordering a lot of short books, like really small, thin books. They were all like between $5 and $8. And I just went and ordered a whole bunch of those that I had on my wish list. I think they've been on there for so long and they're really short books. So I figured I'm going to order all these short books and just read these throughout the summer. And we are at the end of the summer and I haven't read one of those yet. So hopefully I can get to some of those soon. But anyway, I have a lot of books here to show you. So let's get started. These are in no particular order because they was all mixed up. I think these are all the books. I can't be for sure because, like I said, it's been a long time since I've done a book haul, any book video, and I haven't been keeping track of the books that I've been buying. Now, I like to do book hauls here on YouTube and on my Instagram page because it helps me keep track of my books. First up, we have George R.R. Martin's book, A Feast for Crows. This is part of the Game of Thrones series. I've read the first book. This is one of the books that I got at the Historical Society. This book was probably about $2. And even though I've only read the first book, I do plan on finishing the series. So why not get another one that I found from the series if it's only just a couple of bucks. I will have to purchase book 2 and 3 before I can even get to this one. But yeah, I couldn't pass up on this, especially with it being so cheap. Next up, we have Jurassic Park. Everybody knows what Jurassic Park is about. Next up, we have Animal Farm by George Orwell. This is a classic, and it is one of my goals to read a lot of classic books. Up next is Santasploitation. It describes itself as a nasty Christmas story, and it has trigger warnings on here. So, I don't know, it's just a holiday horror book. I love horror. And on the back, it says, ho, ho, holy shit. I also got 100% Match. This book is so tiny. Bart is thirsty. He is bald. He is overweight. He wears glasses. He is a fry cook. He hates cats and kids. Bart occasionally does very bad things. He is looking for his perfect match. He has done his research. Next, we have Abominable Snowman. I just love the cover of this book. The bloody snowman with the bloody axe holding a decapitated head. Basically, this is about a crazy, evil snowman that comes to life. Up next, we got Psycho Raptor. I bought some crazy books, y'all. So this is a story about a woman who's down on her luck, but then she comes into some fortune, and she also gets to go on this all expenses paid cruise. She thinks all her dreams have come true, but there's something else on the cruise with them. A prehistoric beast, somehow back from extinction. And it has a hunger for human flesh. I love the author of this next book. This book is Dead Leaves by Keelan Patrick Burke. These are small tales, 9 tales from the witching season. Apparently, this is book 3 to a series. I did not realize that when I bought this book, so I'm going to have to go buy book 1 and book 2, I guess. But this is titled Noel Hell, and it is another holiday horror book, I'm assuming because they have a scary Santa on the back. So I'm not going to read what this one is really about. I mean, it says he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. So it must be some murderous Santa out to get people. But this is book 3. So I need to get book 1 and book 2. We have another Keelan Patrick Burke book. And this one is titled Guest. Get ready for the new you. Now, when I seen this cover, it reminded me of the movie The Thing. The snowy atmosphere, the human-like creature. So this man, he's recently experienced sort of a heartache. He's working a shift at the Windcrest Hotel. And there's a terrible storm that's coming. And, you know, there's not a lot of staff left there, not a lot of guests left there, but they get a last-minute booking that takes everyone by surprise. There's a small yellow tour bus bound for the Windcrest, and soon the hotel will find itself under siege by something much worse than the storm. So this is very much giving me The Thing vibes, and I'm here for it. I love Keelan Patrick Burke's writing. I'm expecting this to like blow me away. I really am. Next up, we have Yuletide Invasion. I don't know what was up with me in the holiday horror books, but I guess I was just in a mood. It's Christmas Eve, 1986. Well, that's a year before I was born. A blizzard pounds upstate New York. The weather forces strangers from different walks of life to shelter from the storm as a monstrous creature crashes their festivities. The being inhabits the bodies of the slain like a malicious virus. Oh, so it's another one of those body snatcher type alien invasions. Next up, we have Fanged Dandelion. The synopsis on the back is very vague, but I've always wanted to read this author's work, and I don't think I've read anything by him yet. He writes a lot of short horror stories, so I can't wait to get into this one. All right, we have another Keelan Patrick Burke book. This one is titled Dead of Winter. I love this cover. This is a short horror story collection, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, so it has seven short stories. All right, next up, I love the cover of this next book. It is titled 20th Anniversary Screening, and it is by Jeff Strand. Another short horror story. This is a mockumentary style dark comedy, and it's going to recount the grisly events surrounding a slasher titled The Roofer, remembered only because an obsessed fan tried to reenact the murders as they played out on the screen. The next book is Dark Harvest. I freaking loved this movie. It's one of my new favorite horror movies. This book was given to me as a gift by one of my book club members. If you don't know already, I do have a horror thriller book club. I started a book club sometime last year, and we've grown quite a bit since then. It is a bi-monthly book club. We read horror and thriller books, and we meet online, so anyone who lives anywhere can join. So if anyone watching is interested in joining my book club, we will be resuming book club in September. Yeah, so if you're interested in joining, or reach out to me and I'll get all that information to you. I already started it, but I'm right still in the beginning. I got my trick or treat bookmark in here. And if you don't know, yes, it is a horror story. The boys in the town go on like this hunt, and whoever supposedly catches and kills the pumpkin head guy, they get some sort of reward. But there's something sinister going on in the town, and I freaking loved it. I just loved it so much, and I can't wait to finish this book. Speaking of my book club, in the month of February, we read When the Reckoning Comes. So I always like to purchase the physical copy of any books that we will be reading for the book club, because this is the reason why. I like to tab the mess out of books and take notes so that when we come on for our meetings, I have a lot to share. I like to describe this one as a quiet horror story. In this story, there's a black woman. She's friends with this white woman. They were friends when they were growing up together. And now the white woman, I believe her name is Celine, she's getting married, and she decides to host her wedding on a plantation. And things are very weird there. There's some weird things going on. People think the plantation is haunted. And there's a lot of underlining issues to discuss with this book. Social commentary. Another book that I also purchased that we read for my book club is The Exorcist House. Now, the book club members loved this book. And it's exactly what it says. There's this house. There used to be an exorcist that lived in this house. A new family moves in and some weird things start to happen. This was a good book. This was a great audiobook because the narrator does the demonic voices. There are some scenes where there's a demonic creature speaking and the narrator changes his voice, and his voice is so creepy. He does all the creepy voices. The audiobook was just amazing, and it will scare you. Great book. Next up, we have Midnight on Beacon Street. I did start reading this one already. It just wasn't holding my attention enough, so I put it down, but I will get back to it later. I do plan to get back to it later. And this is about a babysitter who she's babysitting two young children, and I believe someone tries to come into the house. Another book club book. This one is House of Hunger. This was the last book that we recently finished for the book club. This was our June book. And this is about a young girl who was sort of down on her luck. And she took advantage of this great opportunity to go be a blood maid. And what it is that you go live at this house. This woman feeds on your blood. They can only stay at the house for a certain amount of time. And then at the end of that period, they're supposed to get paid. They're supposed to get some money. But there's a twist in this book that comes with that. I also picked up The Talisman. I can't remember what The Talisman is about. All I know is that it has Stephen King's name on it, and I'm on a journey to collect and read all of his books. I also picked up Last Night at the Telegraph Club. This was a book that I had on my wish list for so long, I don't even remember what it's about. I think this is a romance story. I haven't read a good romance in quite a while, or rather I should say, I just have not picked up any romances in quite a while. I've been mostly sticking to my horrors and thrillers, so this is a nice little change. I used to love romance stories, so I need to find another great one to get me back into romance. I am very much a romance girly. All right, now we're back to the holiday horror. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, wait a minute. I think this is book one. Yes, I didn't even realize these two books go together. So this book that I'm about to show you now is called The Christmas Morning Massacre. We got a Santa Claus on the cover of the book holding a very big knife. And up top, it says The Raving Hill Butcher, book 1. This one is book 3. Did I buy book 2? I need to get book 2. I think it looks as though you can read these out of order. It doesn't look like it's one of those type of series. But I'll check it out and see. But once again, this is another holiday horror book. Oh my God, look at that creepy Santa on the back. And of course, I had to get part 2 to Amari and the Night Brothers. This one is Amari and the Great Game. I loved Amari and the Night Brothers, which is why it's facing outward on my shelf. All my favorite books, as many as I can get to face outward, because I have, quite a few favorites that aren't actually facing outward. But I like to highlight some of my favorite books by facing them outward on the shelf. You got The Road here behind me. You got Amari and the Night Brothers over here. You got Razor Blade Tears. Love that book. Yeah. So I really think this book has the potential to reach Harry Potter status. I really, really do. The author came up with such an amazing world, amazing magic system. I loved it so much. So I cannot wait to see where Amari's story goes from here. Very much looking forward to this. And they have a third book. I don't know if it's been released yet or if it's coming out, but I will be getting that one as well. As long as he keeps writing these stories, I will keep reading them. We have another Keelan Patrick Burke book. Pretty soon I'm going to have all his books. I'm going to have to do a KPB book haul. But this one is titled Jack in Jill. I always wanted this next book because of the cover. I love this freaking cover so much. I love this cover. And it's titled We. I think this is a sci-fi dystopian. It's definitely a dystopian novel. I don't even know what this book is about. I love this giant eye looking down on the city. This is a beautiful cover. Very intriguing. It doesn't matter what it's about. I'm going to read it. I also got The Magician's Elephant. Me and my son will be reading this one together. There's a movie also based on this book. I don't remember what streaming service it's on, but I did see the movie. The movie was pretty cute as well. In this book, there's a boy, I believe. He's looking for his sister. He goes to see a fortune teller, and then he sets off on this adventure. The Sanatorium. And this is a thriller. The next couple books I'm going to show you are poetry books. I originally bought these books for a student at the school where I work at. She's a very amazing writer, 4th grader, already excelling at storytelling. I was blown away when they did some fiction writing, and she let me read some of her stuff. And she's also an amazing poetry writer. And she loves to read poetry as well. So I had got 3 poetry books from the book fair that they had at the Historical Society. But of course, I had to read through all the books before I give them to her to make sure they're age appropriate. I gave her one of the books, but I didn't get finished reading these 2 before the end of the school year came, because the book fair happened like towards the end of the school year. So hopefully I can read through these and give them to her sometime in the upcoming school year. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but it's a poetry book, okay? This is an old poetry book from the 60s. So that's this one. And then this one, collected poems with a New England flavor. Out There Screaming, The Beast You Are. These are 2 short horror stories by people that I adore. Paul Tremblay wrote The Beast You Are. I'm a Paul Tremblay fan. I love The Cabin at the End of the World. It's one of my favorite books. I need to read more of his works. And Jordan Peele, love his movies, love the way he thinks. This one is Out There Screaming. This is an anthology of new black horror. Love this cover as well. This one was a gift to myself. One of my favorite stories, one of my favorite books. This copy of Frankenstein is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. The camera does not do this justice. Okay, there it is. It is gorgeous. And it's pink. And I love pink. Okay. It is actually a goal of mine to get this tattooed on me. But anyway, this is Frankenstein. This sits in my room facing outward, like on the top of my shelf. I love this edition. And if I see any more pretty editions of Frankenstein, I will be buying them. I absolutely adore this story. One of my favorite classics and one of my favorite horror stories, period. And then really quickly, I'm just going to run through some of the books that I got at the Scholastic Book Fair. I Survived the Great Alaska Earthquake, 1964. These are books that I bought for my son. I Survived the Great Molasses Flood, 1919. Goosebumps. It is my goal to read all the Goosebumps books. So I probably will be reading this one for sure. This is House of Shivers, Goblin Monday. Deadlands, The Deadlands, Hunted. My son loves dinosaurs. I got him this book. He read it in like 2 days. I also have a graphic novel version of I Survived. This is I Survived the Great Chicago Fire, 1871. He loves these I Survived books. I also collect picture books. So although some of these books are in the kids collection, I also collect picture books. But this one is Because of You, John Lewis, the true story of a remarkable friendship. And I am collecting these books. This one is The Sour Grape. I love these stories. They have one with a coffee bean, I think, and God, they just got all kinds. I'm trying to remember. I have a few of them, more than a few actually. I've been collecting these stories, but these are really, really cute stories with adorable illustrations. So this one is the Sour Grape one. And then another dinosaur book for my son, Are We There Yet? Picture books. I love picture books. I actually collect picture books, collect children's books. So those are just some of the books I got at Scholastic Book Fair. I told you I had a lot of books, and I am terrible at describing what books are about because I haven't read them yet. But anyways, let me know if you read any of these. Also, don't forget, if you're interested in joining my horror thriller book club, which is, by the way, called MORGUE Book Club, let me know down below or send me an email and I'll get all the information to you about how you can join. With that being said, I will see you guys in my next one.